Hey, hey, hey. Time for another out of this world story from rSpace. Wife sacrifices marriage for something I offered to give her. So, not really sure how to start this. Not the most intelligent nor smartest guy in the world. Guess I'll just start talking. Me, 32 male, and my 26 female wife have been together for almost 5 years, married for 2. We have a 2-year-old son, and I have a 10-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. Starting April of 21, my wife has made a new friend at work, F, and normal friend things start. Normal things at first. Texting, tagging each other on social apps. Normal things. Female is also in a relationship with a man. Not sure if they're married. This is useful later. Starting in June, I started noticing things. Wife would stay up late at night, all night sometimes messaging F. Wife spending lots of time with her. Her coming to my house. Wife going to their house. Again, nothing serious, figured it's just friend things. One night, I noticed something odd. Wife and I are in bed. I'm asleep. I wake up, and she hurry and hides her phone. I don't think anything of it. I come back to bed and kind of snore while I'm awake, and she pulls up her phone and looks to delete some messages. I'm half asleep and don't pay any mind to it at the moment. During this time, we start getting into fights more often. She's starting to go to F's house more often, and they're starting to go places more often. It starts coming to a head around June 23rd. We get into a huge fight, and it ends with the wife punching a hole in the wall and leaving for F's house. That night, after more arguing and texts, I end up telling her I want a divorce and we can no longer have a safe and stable relationship for our child. We later figure this out. June 29th, it blows up big time. I'm at work and receive a message from my wife. Wife says F is coming to live with us because her partner kicked her out and she has no way to go. I tell wife this isn't happening at all. At this point, I'm very suspicious of wife and F. I tell my wife, you and your girlfriend can finally do whatever the F you want to do. I don't give a F anymore. She responds with, well, I love you. I always will, and I'll always care about you because you're the father of my child. And that'll never change. I'm just going to put it out there. F's partner thinks F and I have something going on. He's jealous and controlling and she needed out. Sometimes feelings develop and it isn't anything that I can change now. After you threatened to divorce me, it made me realize you don't care as much about our relationship as I thought you did. I call her, and she finally lets me know that she and F have had a physical affair, and my suspicions are confirmed. Long story short, she tells me that it's because F was emotionally there for her during our arguments and fights. She also keeps stating she's just been selfish about the entire situation, and that my wife was always curious about females. I've offered in the past to invite a female into our room to fulfill the wife's fantasy, but she refused, stating she did not want to share me. I do my best to work through this, against my better judgment, and we start to mend our relationship. I'm not the best person on the planet. I say things, mean hurtful things, that I later apologize for. I always just had a feeling that something didn't add up. The story didn't quite sit right. They said, played and touched a few times, and only had sex once. Still, it never added up. The messages F sent to my wife when they quit talking is nothing that a fling would send. Things talking about true love and her being the one. Messages that didn't make any sense in her phone and had no context, leading me to believe most of them were deleted. Nice pictures on my wife's phone that I never received. Pictures where she has makeup on and all that. It came to my attention about a week ago. I reached out to F and her partner to offer an apology. I didn't feel they deserved one, but I felt I needed to do it as I said some pretty mean and hurtful things. I did it for myself more than anything. F and I start messaging and she actually fills me in on a lot of things that happened apparently. She then drops the bombshell and asks if her partner can call me. I accept the call, and he tells me, I cannot accept your apology because I also had sex with your wife. So basically, my wife had sex with this couple, multiple times because she wanted to try a woman, and her partner would not let F have sex with my wife unless he joined. I'm beyond destroyed. I feel like my wife sacrificed me, our son, and my daughter for something so selfish. And I offered to do it for her, but she refused because she did not want another person to touch me. I can't begin to process all this, and I have no idea where to go. Edit. I never thought so many of you would reach out to me as I'm suffering, and I thank you. But as this is getting attention, I feel I should edit this in. My wife has no contact with F or F's partner. Turns out, F and her partner have reached out to me with their own marital issues. They all admitted to having the threesome twice. Wife and F have admitted to touching and kissing. F claims it was more sex with just them two. Wife claims that F's partner is too jealous and freaks out when they are alone with each other. Edit 2. I thank you all again for your harsh truths and kind words. I don't have anyone to confide in, which is why I'm reaching out to the internet, I guess. Edit 3. Time for another edit, as many have asked. Wife has done everything I've asked of her for reconciliation. She told family members, activated GPS tracking, posted on socials, and just recently agreed to a post-nuptial agreement. Let's get some reaction from the community. Throw Me Away Today says, she didn't want to share you. She shared herself instead and left you out of all the fun she was having. Effed another guy, had a threesome, all behind your back. Hit that eject button now. Third Duke of Sat GGS says, I'm sorry you're going through this. The best thing to do is start accepting that these things happened and happened for selfish reasons, no matter how you spin it. I think it's time to contact a lawyer and get yourself some individual therapy. Reach out to family if you have any you could turn to as a shoulder to lean on. Remember, you can always backtrack on the divorce at some point, not that you should. But you can never go back in time and leave someone sooner and gain back all the wasted time. One more comment coming from Kabbalist Writes. My heart broke as I read this. She sounds selfish and awful. You need to cut free and move on. That selfish desire to keep you to herself while she was allowing her madness? F her. Not literally. Cut loose. Rescind the apology. Say you can't believe you even offered an olive branch. Go cold. Go merciless. Cut out your love and replace it with that anger and carve her out of your life as best you can. She's probably still with them both by the sounds of it. Look after your own sanity first. Put as many barriers between yourself and her as you can. I am so sorry to hear this. You deserve better. On to the next story. I, 22 female, found text messages from a year ago proving my boyfriend, 28 male, had intentions to cheat on me, and I don't know how to confront him for something that happened a year ago. My boyfriend, 28 male, and I, 22 female, have been together for 2 years. To give you a short backstory, we started off as an accidental one-night stand, and since we were in the same friend group and always were around each other, it soon turned into a relationship. Not the most romantic story, but anyways, that was the summer of 2019, and by the spring of 2020, we had met each other's parents and families already. You could say by this time we were definitely exclusive. Recently, we've been talking about marriage here and there, and I see myself marrying this man and having a future with him, but yesterday, I made the mistake of looking through his text messages. There were no recent messages that concerned me, but I scrolled back to last year, 2020. I found a conversation between him and another girl. It starts off basic, like they're getting to know each other and talk about meeting up to hang out. But then he says, I kinda want to meet up and talk with you before anything else is done. And she says, duh, I don't just F people, but you look like a great candidate. He then asks for her OnlyFans, she gives it to him, and the convo basically ends. A few days later, she tells him she is a few towns over and invites him to come hang out. He immediately asks where, and she takes a while to respond, but tells him the name of the bar, and he tells her he will be there in 25 minutes. Once he's there, she stops responding, and when she finally does, he says he is already back home. They dirty talk a little bit, and then never text again. This was exactly a year ago in September of 2020. There have been no other signs of cheating since then. How do I even bring this up to him? I know my feelings are valid because we were together, and it feels the same even if those messages were from today. But I feel guilty for looking through his texts. Let's get some opinions from the community. JNH Daughter says, so you didn't mistakenly go through his phone. Your gut told you something and you listened. Also, if you really think they did nothing, you need to stop kidding yourself. He cheated, period. What's worst is it was emotional, not just sex. You can never trust him, hun. He didn't come clean and tell you about it. You found it, and what's sadder is he didn't even delete it and still had her number. And how do you know they aren't still in contact? He has her OnlyFans. What I don't get is when people find out their supposed partner is cheating, they question how they should ask them or what they should do. Leave. This is what you should do. If you feel the need to tell him why, that's fine, but once trust is broken, it's broke. There is no fixing it or rebuilding. There's a lie people who want to stay with cheaters tell themselves. Know your worth. Know he was unfaithful and had no respect for you. Good luck, and I hope you choose you and do what's best for you. Next comment comes from the Bears86. Well, at least you found out now instead of marrying this POS. Remember to always go with your gut and don't listen to your heart. Good luck. Last comment of the episode coming from Zombie Balloon. There's an issue with trust in your relationship. Your boyfriend is a cheater and you don't trust him, which is like, duh, of course not. If he really wants to make a deal out of you going through his messages, that's a separate issue. Tell him, yeah, sure, we'll discuss that when we're finished with this conversation. In no way does your snooping minimize his actions or make them okay. Just like you can't say, okay, so one time you washed my favorite dress on the wrong setting, so it shrank, so that's why it's okay I snoop. It's a childish and silly argument. Make sure not to allow him to derail the discussion, which is an often used tactic where the cheaters deflect guilt. Also, what he did was cheating. It's not like you can walk all over your partner and then claim it's okay because of a technicality. My friend's ex tried to argue he technically didn't cheat because he couldn't get it up and thus not penetrate. It's disgusting. Don't fall for it.